This is the newsroom for Tuesday, March 23, 2021. We're broadcasting to you on E1, Scar TV, NTN, and Tarzi TV in Bartica. In the headlines, 2 prison escapees and a woman are killed during a shootout with the police about Better Hope on the east coast of Demerara. The joint services have been instructed to get tough on enforcing COVID-19 guidelines.
There must be increased enforcement of the COVID guidelines.
The EU ambassador to Guyana, Fernando Ponz Cantó, talks up the possibilities for more investment from the EU here. And in sport, Fruta Conquerors on campaign to raise funds for Caribbean Club Shield participation. With the news, I'm Fariza Hanif. We're glad you can join us. 2 prisoners who had escaped from the Mazaruni prison last month were shot dead on Monday night during an exchange of gunfire with ranks of the Guyana Police Force. A woman who was closely associated with one of the escapees was also killed. The police are still on the hunt for 2 other escapees who may have been present at the Better Hope East Coast Demerara location during the shootout but managed to escape. Kurt Campbell joins us.
The Guyana Police Force Tuesday afternoon confirmed the identity of the woman who died in the shooting incident about Better Hope East Coast Demerara on Monday as 49-year-old Savita Rajkumar called Debbie. Police headquarters in a statement explained that at about 10 hours, Shaniki Williams, a 26-year-old housewife of Friendship Squatting Area, East Bank Demerara, went to the Sparndam police station and claimed that she received information that her mother was involved in a shooting incident with the police. She was taken to the Lichen Funeral Home, Georgetown, where the body was shown to her. There, she positively identified the deceased to be that of her mother, Savita Rajkumar, of Better Hope South Squatting Dam. Rajkumar was shot dead along with 2 prisoners, Imran Ramsawak and Rayon Jones, who had escaped from the Mazaruni prison in Region 7 on February 16, 2021. The police said the woman is a close acquaintance of one of the prison escapees who died. Police headquarters in a statement earlier on Tuesday noted that its ranks received information at about 20 hours 40 that the escapees were hiding out in an abandoned swampy field surrounded by bush. The ranks, upon arriving there, observed that there were 3 wooden shacks in the field with 2 partly constructed ones. It is alleged that the ranks began clearing the first shack, but no one was seen. However, they heard a voice in the 3rd shack. It is claimed that the police immediately identified themselves when a male emerged and discharged 1 round at them and ran away. The ranks returned fire, and in the end, Jones, Ramsawak, and the woman were found inside the shack with gunshot injuries. The male, who allegedly fired at the police, escaped. A sworn-off double-barrel shotgun was found at the scene. Jones and Ramsawak were among 4 prisoners who escaped the Mazaruni prison last month by cutting off the bars from within their cells and breaking the padlock to the entrance gate. Jones' father, Ralph Jones, was remanded to prison last month after he admitted to aiding the prisoners after their escape. As a matter of fact, Jones, who was serving 28 years imprisonment for manslaughter, had attempted to escape from the Georgetown prisons in 2020. He was among 2 of the masterminds behind the attempted prison break. Jones, who was a resident of Bartica, was sentenced in July 2018 for the murder of Fernando Andrew Baljet, who he confessed to killing during a home invasion on June 9, 2016 at his Tumiri East Bank Demerara home. Meanwhile, Ramsawak, also known as Kevin Jones, Coolie Boy or Ramsa, was sentenced to death in December 2019 for the murder of 45-year-old United States-based Guyanese businesswoman Samantha Benjamin, whose dismembered body was found at the Boxton Seawall's East Coast Demerara in 2015. He was a notorious gang member of Lot 7 Adelphi Village, East Kanji, Berbice.
2 men were on Tuesday released on $400,000 bail for allegedly killing 47-year-old Samuel D'Souza, who was beaten to death with a piece of wood at Victor Valley, Wisma Linden recently. 26-year-old Otu Duke and 34-year-old Orlando Montoot, both residents of Victor Valley, appeared before Magistrate Wanda Fortune at the Linden Magistrates Court charged with manslaughter. The duo was not required to plead to the charge, which alleged that on March 6, 2021, at Victor Valley, they unlawfully killed D'Souza. Magistrate Fortune released the 2 men on $400,000 bail with the condition that they report to the Wisma police station 2 times per month. The case is adjourned to April 22, 2021. According to reports, D'Souza, a laborer of Victor Valley, was found dead in a track leading to his home on March 6th. Police found D'Souza lying on his back, and a wooden-handled spear was observed resting on his body with what appeared to be blood. 3 knives and a screwdriver were found in the waist of his pants. His mouth and right ear had what appeared to be blood oozing. As Guyana heads steadily towards the 10,000 COVID-19 infection mark with cases increasing daily, the Ministry of Health has asked the joint services to get tough on its enforcement of the COVID-19 measures and restrictions. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony on Monday said that citizens who flout the COVID-19 guidelines will be placed before the courts. Kurt Campbell reports.
There must be increased enforcement of the COVID guidelines, because if people continue to disregard these guidelines, not wearing masks, socializing, being very close to each other, gathering in these public spaces that are closely together, we are going to have spread.
That was Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony. The minister explained that he engaged the National COVID-19 Task Force, and it was at that level that the decision was taken to have the Guyana Police Force and the Guyana Defence Force do more stringent enforcement of the curfew, social distancing and capacity operation for businesses. Dr. Anthony said it is worrisome that persons are not even adhering to some of the most basic guidelines, such as wearing a mask. He said Guyanese seem to have become complacent, but warned that this could become a major problem for the country if the spread of the deadly disease is not contained.
So people need to start taking this thing a little bit more seriously. I think people have dropped their guard a little bit, and they think that COVID is over. COVID is not over. We have COVID that is circulating, and we have to take those precautions.
The COVID-19 task force will also be looking into the use of public transportation and adherence to the guidelines. Dr. Anthony further pointed out that with about 900 active cases currently, with most of the infections in regions 4 and 3, it is time for every individual to play their part in curbing the spread. Thus far, 218 persons have died from the disease since March 2020. Over 50 are hospitalized at the West Demerara Regional Hospital and the Lillian Dahl Infectious Diseases Hospital, the Ocean View COVID-19 Hospital. 12 of those hospitalized are in the intensive care unit. Dr. Anthony said the onus is on all individuals, government agencies, private sector bodies, and businesses.
When the newsroom returns, all frontline workers received their COVID vaccines in Region 9, and a Haiti Georgetown resident pleads for help to undergo a life-saving surgery. Stay with us. You're watching the newsroom. All frontline healthcare workers in Region 9, Upper Takitu, Essequibo, have been vaccinated against the deadly coronavirus, according to Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony. This means that Region 9 is now the first region to acquire 100% immunization status for frontline health workers. This is followed closely by Regions 2 and 6, where a large percentage of frontline healthcare workers have already been vaccinated. As of Monday, March 22nd, a total of 20,470 Guyanese have been vaccinated with approximately 2,000 immunization per day. In addition to frontline healthcare workers, Guyana is also vaccinating persons over the age of 60.
Well, the region that has so far immunized all of their healthcare workers is Region 9. Others would have not completed 100%, but certainly would have done a large percentage, and that's Region 2 and Region 6. I think in both 2 and 6, they have about 70-something% of their healthcare workers have been immunized. Others are a little bit lagging, so we have to pick up in those other areas. And I think as more people come out and get vaccinated, that too is encouraging healthcare workers to take the vaccine. Again, we have not had any adverse reaction to these vaccines that we're using. Globally, there haven't been any adverse reaction per se. With AstraZeneca, there was about a week ago the issue dealing with blood clotting, but I think that has now been resolved by the European Medical Regulatory Agency. where they found that in the vaccinated population that the blood clots were far less than in the non-vaccinated population. So they have continued the use of the vaccine in Europe, and so that has alleviated whatever fears people might have had. In Guyana, we continue to monitor. We monitor not just after you get the vaccine for the first 15 minutes, but a lot of people who would have received the vaccine would have received a call within a 24-hour period to find out how you've been doing and if you had any side effects and so forth.
A 43-year-old man of William Street, Kitty, Georgetown, is seeking the public's assistance to undergo a life-saving kidney transplant surgery. Joel Semple, a former construction worker, was diagnosed with end-stage kidney failure due to hypertension in 2019. The father of 2 girls is now surviving on dialysis treatment while he waits for the surgery. During an interview with the Newsroom on Tuesday, Semple, who lives alone, explained that a donor has come forward, but he needs financial assistance for a cross-match test to be done, which will determine whether he is compatible with the donor.
But 2.5 years ago, I found out my kidney them is not good. My blood pressure was so high that it damaged my kidneys, and right now it's taking my heart. Most friends and family didn't really understand what's going on, so I was it by myself, trying to fight and survive. I didn't really have much people at my side. Just my old-time boss man, he was supporting me. And I have a friend on the street named Mixie. She was supporting me. Like when I can't afford dialysis and I take in, I just go to Joshing Hospital. Well, when I get admitted, I have to be in there like every month. I just be in there like for 2 weeks. Because I really can't afford to pay dialysis 2 times a week. I'm supposed to be taking it 3 times. And I have another family friend again. He promised me to donate a kidney, but it's the funds are trying to raise now. Colette, she hook up GoFundMe, this GoFundMe page. Yeah, those are trying to raise to go and get the transplant done. Well, the other day I taken, can't breathe. When you see you drink too much of liquid, your lungs is locked off. And I fall down in the house there. And my friend, the next year, he hear I hollering and come over and break down the door and take me and call the ambulance and so. You've got to be careful what you're doing, what you're drinking and what you're eating. Otherwise, all the time you won't be lucky going to the hospital there.
Persons willing to assist Semple can contact him on telephone number 659-5535. Still ahead in the newsroom, a Chinese company pumps $25 million into a seafood plant on the east bank of Demerara, and the EU ambassador to Guyana talks up the possibilities for more investment from the EU here. Thank you for staying with us. Recognizing that Guyana's potential goes beyond its newly discovered oil and gas reserves, European Union Ambassador to Guyana, Fernando Ponz on Tuesday talked up the possibilities for more investment from the EU here. Ambassador Cantó said, with Guyana currently gaining acknowledgement for being one of the fastest growing economies in the world, it provides plenty of opportunities for business, investment, and trade. Here's Kurt Campbell.
There is plenty of opportunities for business, for investment, for trade, and I want to underline something that Dr. Maharaj has just said. It goes beyond oil. It covers also tourism, extractive industries, agroforest, infrastructure, everything. There is plenty of opportunities beyond oil.
That was European Union Ambassador to Guyana, Fernando Ponz. The ambassador told the Invest in Guyana Virtual Forum, which was attended by President Irfan Ali and almost 500 delegates from around the world, that Europe intends to ensure that its interest in Guyana amounted to a win-win situation for both sides.
Now we are in a better position than ever to have more Guyana in Europe and more Europe in Guyana. We want also to underline, and I want to underline, as I do many times when we speak about this subject, that we are not in a zero-sum game. It is a win-win. That means that there is a space for everybody. The country is growing, so everybody can find some opportunities for himself here.
The ambassador also offered his support for the local private sector, saying that although small, it has proven its vibrancy over the last year. He said the role the private sector plays is fundamental for development. The virtual conference was organized by the European delegation to Guyana in collaboration with the Caribbean Export Development Agency, the Caribbean Association of Investment Promotion Agencies, and the Guyana Investment Agency GoInvest. The conference attracted close to 500 delegates from 47 countries around the world. Using that platform, President Ali welcomed European investment in Guyana. The head of state said the timing of the forum was favorable since it comes at a time when both the EU and Guyana are undergoing change.
Guyana is pursuing a transformative agenda, which will require significant investment. The European Union, in turn, is charting its post-pandemic reopening and recovery, and this will drive the bloc to explore new trade and economic opportunities for enhancing its global reach and influence.
Dr. Ali also pointed out that the conference is happening against the prospects of a renewed long-term partnership between the European Union and the African, Caribbean, and Pacific states. To this end, Dr. Ali said Guyana welcomes the positive repositioning of relations. Joining the head of state at the virtual event was Minister within the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashley Singh. Monday's conference also included discussions and presentations from several prominent Guyanese, including the CEO of GoInvest, Peter Ramsrup, Governor of the Central Bank of Guyana, Dr. Gobin Ganga, past President of the Guyana Manufacturing and Services Association, Sham Nokta, among other heads of government agencies and representatives from the private sector. For the Newsroom, I'm Kurt Campbell.
A Chinese seafood company, Grande's Seafood Processing, has started operations in Guyana and has begun processing shrimp in bulk. This comes after the company would have invested $25 million in a plant set up at Garden of Eden on the east bank of Demerara. Sheena Henry has the details.
Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa said that he is impressed with what he has seen, as it will aid in the creation of jobs since the closure of the sugar estates have put a strain on former sugarcane workers and their families.
That put a strain on many of the families, and they went back to fishing. Many of them went to fishing, and as a result of that, now they are getting a ready market, and we welcome that, so that they can, as you rightly said, that they are not only fishing our fish 5 days per week, but they fish almost every single day, and that will help our economy and also help them economically to earn a proper income.
Upon sampling already processed shrimp and giving his approval, the minister noted that in the near future, additional farmers from not only West Coast Demerara, but East and West Coast Berbice will be joining the aquaculture sector as it expands and creates jobs, as well as large-scale exporting regionally and internationally.
We have an aggressive team working to look at the barriers that are hampering our trade in the Caribbean and other parts of the world. So we'll be working, and places like you will have the kind of opportunities also to get new markets, not only in Asia and China and Europe, but also in the Caribbean, where you could export your products.
According to the Ministry of Agriculture, the facility was constructed at a cost of $25 million and is prepared with new seafood processing equipment. The Chinese-owned company is a subsidiary of Hongdong Fisheries Company Limited, a company headquartered in China which specializes in processing and trading of fishery products. It is the largest comprehensive fishery enterprise and has the largest number of fishing vessels in China, abundant product categories, and a complete industrial chain. Given the track record of the parent company, it is anticipated that Grande's Seafood Inc. will reveal the hidden potential of Guyana's aquaculture sector, which is pegged to be an economic powerhouse in the coming years. For the Newsroom, I am Sheena Henry.
When the newsroom returns, the financial, weather and bridge reports, along with sport with Avinash Ramzan.
Welcome back to Newsroom. Avinash Ramzan here with tonight's sport. We're starting us off with some football news. Guyana's reigning Elite League champions, Fruta Conquerors Football Club, will need to raise $3 million to properly prepare and ensure their participation in the upcoming CONCACAF Caribbean Club Shield Championship. The tournament will be played in Curacao from April 23 to May 2. Akim Green reports.
While the players are focused on their on-field preparation, the executive members of Fruta Conquerors FC are working overtime to ensure the finances are met. Club President Colin Gittins said they've raised approximately $600,000 in pursuit of the required $3 million. Thus far, supporters come from Singers, Ghana Lottery Company, the FS Cricket Club, among others.
To have our full contingent fully prepared for this, to take part in this competition, we are looking at a bare budget of about $3 million. Right? This will cover our preparation costs in terms of the team going out to prepare, stipend for the players and for the coaches, and also our travel costs, which is the biggest part of it all. As you may know now, travel is kind of stringent and the difficulty in itself in moving around, which put a burden on the cost to travel. CONCACAF is providing some form of subvention in terms of the travel fares, but of course we have the final part of it, right? So our budget is about $3 million. So far we have been able to raise about $600,000. Of course, because of the whole global pandemic, businesses are not giving, or because of some reason or the other. Most cries from businesses that they have financial situations. But of course, we know the importance of this competition to the players, not only to the club, but to the players, the young players who is going to take part in this competition. And we are imploring to them, we know that there's an issue, we know that there's a situation right now, but of course we know that we, with the help of corporate Guyana, we can make this happen.
Gittins explained while they've not gotten assurance from anyone as yet, in the past, the Guyana Football Federation has committed to supporting as they did in 2019 when they competed at a set competition. The president also said the plan is to reach out to the sport minister for assistance, as this championship allows them to showcase the youth of Guyana.
This is an opportunity not just for the club to show off our club, it's an opportunity to show off young talent. Now at these games and at these competitions, what happens a lot of times is that the young talent is spotted. Other clubs overseas might spot a young player and want to sponsor them in terms of giving them a break to go to college, to have them play in bigger leagues. And so it's mostly an opportunity for the players. Right? And of course, a lot of the players who are involved in football don't come from the uphill societies. They're from the neighborhoods like Tocqueville and so on, the less fortunate areas. And these are the people who need the help.
In the bid for clubs in Guyana to become more financially stable and be able to regularly attend overseas tournaments, clubs need to present feasible marketing options for the corporate community, according to executive member Samuel Arjun.
And what clubs with that model brings to the table is the exposure. They have their social media page, and all of these things can be monetized. All of these things can be monetized. The t-shirts, the apparels, each part can be monetized and be sold to corporate Guyana. Making it a club not coming hat in hand to corporate Guyana, because the perception is, the perception with sports in Guyana is that clubs come begging. But I think if we change that, if club can change that now, come with a business proposition to corporate Guyana and present the case and present the opportunity as to what they will bring. What is the return on investment? Yes, there's corporate social responsibility, but beyond that, there's return on investment for the company, and the company have to see.
A contingent of 23, 18 players and 5 management staff are eyeing to arrive at minimum 2 days prior to match day on April 23rd, since no quarantine is needed. However, the contingent needs to return 2 negative results on a PCR test. For the Newsroom, Akim Green.
Meanwhile, the Guyana government has committed to assisting champions of the 2019 Guyana Football Federation's Elite League, Fruta Conquerors, in their participation in the upcoming CONCACAF Caribbean Club Shield Championship. The tournament will be played in Curacao from April 23 to May 2. More in this report. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Hugh Todd, met the team at the Tugville ground on Sunday, where he congratulated the players on their selection to the tournament.
This club has a lot of history, almost 4 decades and running. One of the most successful clubs here in Guyana. And I know you did not do it without sacrifice and challenges. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the senior leaders of the club and the board for keeping the club going. Clearly there's continuity and there's a succession plan for this club to have survived so long.
Minister Todd said Guyana has its largest budget yet for sport development. Additionally, with the coming of oil wealth, more money would be made available to invest in sport.
As you know, once you're going to be part of a competition, you need a budget, and oftentimes you need support, because that is how sports work. You need sponsorship, you need financial support to be able to meet the demands that are required. I will have a conversation with the president and the coach, and I will also take that forward to the president himself to see what assistance we can give you from the level of government.
President of the Tugville-based club, Colin Gittins, said the executives and players welcomed the visit by Minister Todd and the promise of support by government.
Of course, his visit shows the commitment of the government of Guyana to not only the development of football, but the development of the youths in Guyana. And his visit was very significant. He heard some of our needs and requirements to be able to partake in the CFU 2021 competition. And he had given us the assurance that the government will be assisting the club in this venture.
Head coach Samson Gilbert said Fruta Conquerors would not only be competing as a club, but would be carrying the hopes of a nation during the tournament. Like Gittins, he lauded the initiative of the government to support the club's journey.
I think this is a good gesture. Like I said, a team cannot progress. It's a country got to progress, and as a minister, as a government, it's totally necessary that we have this kind of interaction to actually have a better society, so that the people could have confidence in the government, so that the government could make commitments towards the people. This is the social aspect right here, and so I really appreciate this, and I'm looking forward for the support from the government. I'm looking forward to see that government, support the people. This has been something that they've been saying all the time, and in order for develop their good relationship with the communities, I think this is very good. As the minister said, this is not his first and last visit, and I'm indeed looking forward to develop a very potent relationship with not just this minister, but the government as a whole.
The CONCACAF Caribbean Club Shield opened to title-winning clubs from the 27 Caribbean Football Union members that do not organize professional football begins in Curacao on April 23. The top 2 teams from each of the 4 CFU nations with a professional league, those are the Dominican Republic, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica and Haiti, compete in the top tier of the CONCACAF Caribbean Club Championship. CONCACAF were the last team to represent Guyana in the CONCACAF Caribbean Club Shield, finishing bottom of their group in 2019 and missing out on the knockout stages. As the GFF Elite League was cancelled in 2020 due to the pandemic, Guyana is eligible to enter the winners of the most recent edition of the league. The Tugville-based side dominated the 2019 season, finishing unbeaten with a goal difference of positive 38. We tell you now that the Belize Football Federation has expressed its disappointment and disgust after a bus taking the national team to their hotel in Haiti was held up by an armed gang. The incident occurred on Monday, shortly after the squad had arrived in the country for a 2022 World Cup qualifier. Police escorting the team were forced to negotiate with the gang to allow the bus to proceed to the hotel. An image posted on the Federation's Facebook page showed the gang on motorbikes wearing masks and carrying weapons. The Federation added that the safety of the team was its top priority, and they had contacted FIFA and CONCACAF over moving the players to a safer environment. The team is scheduled to play Haiti in their opening World Cup qualifier in Port-au-Prince on Thursday. Oshado Fernando and Lahiro Tiramani led a strong Sri Lankan fight back on day 3 of the first test against West Indies in Antigua on Tuesday. After relinquishing a first innings lead of 102, the tourists closed on 255 for 4, an overall lead of 153 with 2 days remaining. Batting a second time, Sri Lanka lost Dimut Karunaratne for 3 before Fernando and Tiramani added 162 for the second wicket to give their side the ascendancy. Kyle Mears picked up Fernando for 91 and Dinesh Chandimal for 4 in quick succession before Kimar Roach bowled Tiramani for 76 as West Indies made inroads into the middle order. However, Dhananjaya De Silva 46 not out and debutant Pathum Nissanka 21 not out batted to the close with an unbroken partnership of 66 to strengthen Sri Lanka's lead. Bowling for West Indies, Mears had 2 for 10 and Roach 2 for 28. Now, West Dem Vipers and West Bank Warriors recorded solid wins in round 2 action of the Big Man Cricket Tournament, while Jai Hind's Jaguars took maximum points without breaking a sweat in latest games on Sunday. More in this report. West Dem Vipers defeated Timothy Motorcycle Masters by 5 wickets, West Bank Warriors defeated GT Royal Rangers by 84 runs, and Jai Hind Jaguars gained a walkover from Real Warriors. At the Metameresurg Community Centre ground, West Dem Vipers made light work of Timothy Motorcycle Masters. Timothy Motorcycle Masters made 105 all-out in 23.2 overs, with Peter Prasad making 18. Mohan Chetram took 3 for 25, Lalta Suksnandan 2 for 13 and Vinod Rajkumar 2 for 16. In reply, West Dem Vipers coasted to victory at 109 for 5 in 15.1 overs, with Seymour Evans scoring 45, Lalta Suksnandan 15 and Peter Prasad 4 for 49. At the GCC ground border, West Bank Warriors defeated GT Royal Rangers by 84 runs. West Bank Warriors posted 189 for 6 from 25 overs, with Ganesh Prasad making 79 and Sohan Badesi 53. GT Royal Rangers were bowled out for 105 in 25 overs, with Mustafa Azimullah making 19 and Tej Narain Ramroop 18. Chatrapal Singh bagged 3 for 16 and Sicharan Prasad 2 for 16. Also recording wins in other round 2 matches were Essequibo Eagles, Jai Hind Jaguars, West Dem Warriors and GT Royal Rangers. Matches in the over 45 T25 tournament will continue on Saturday and Monday. And finally, England squandered a chance to win a fluctuating first one-day international against India, losing by 66 runs in Pune. Johnny Bairstow's scintillating 94 from only 66 balls had the world champions well on course for their target of 318. But India's pace bowlers roared back, and an England side missing the rested Joe Root lost 5 wickets for 41 runs before eventually slumping to 251 all out. The hosts had earlier been lifted to 317 for 5 by Shikhar Dhawan's 98 and 58 not out from Krunal Pandya, whose 26-ball half-century was the fastest by a debutant in one-day internationals. The second game in the 3-match series is on the same ground on Friday. And with that, we have come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, Newsroom.gy, our Facebook page and Instagram. On behalf of the entire news team, my name is Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching. Be safe. See you next time.